By the constant indulgence in our sensory activities, all the sensory activities are corroding the brilliance of the senses. Do you understand and agree? By seeing, is the health, is the strength of the eye increasing or diminishing? Huh? Doctors, what do you say? Every time it is like that. Sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha. The brilliance of the senses is corroded by employing them. Right from the morning after you wake up till you close your eyes in sleep, we are acting and interacting. This interactional process is biologically corroding. Do you agree or disagree? In the whole process, whatever we are spending in the way of motivation, inspiration, compulsion, attitude, etc., it's all from the mind and the intelligence. So the quality of the mind or the stock of the mind and the intelligence is getting exhausted. That is why these religious exercises are necessary. Religious exercises are not necessary for getting heaven. They are necessary for the upkeep of your inner personality. So if you can close your eyes for 10 minutes at least a day and contemplate upon your own mind and your own intelligence and their functions, you will find, I call it infusional introspection. It's a coinage I have made. Infusional introspection. An introspection which is taken up with a view to infuse qualitative improvement to the mind and intelligence. All of you are doing introspection for your professional skill, professional competence, object efficiency or objective efficiency, external performance. Where is that introspection which you take up with a view to imbue and embellish your own mind and your own intelligence? All forms of religious and spiritual practices are only this, my dear souls. Now tell me whether they are religious or secular. Boliye na jor se. I may pray to God and you may call it religion. To me it is very clear that my prayer is meant to address my own inner personality and enrich it, empower it, elevate it, enlighten it, enlarge it, expand it. So you tell me, is it a secular item or something else? Just like taking food, it is providing nourishment to the mind and intelligence. And why people call it religious, I don't understand. Only fools will do so. Wise man will never say. All our temples, are they for God? Which God has told you you should construct a temple for me? Huh? Whose is temple architecture? चुप रहते हैं क्यों? Temple architecture, whose is that? Huh? Who construct the temple? Whose design it is? Who makes the idol? Who carves it? Who brings it to the spot? Who installs it? And whose language is the prayer? Whose is the worship? Tell me what is God there? यहाँ भगवान कहीं पर है क्या? हर एक तो हमारी कार्रवाई है, हमारी रचना है, हमारी तैयारी है. And suddenly you import a God. Do you understand my point? This is India, my dear souls. This is India. The science behind the temple is so beautiful that when you understand it, you will be amazed. It's a social need. It's a need of the society. How many people are happy? They come there, pray, they feel peace, they feel happy. So to have peace of mind, is it not just like having our appetite appeased? Man wants to have hunger and thirst appeased. He also has a quest for peace. That peace also has to be fulfilled. Our people, if they are peaceful, they will even stand a number of denials and privations. Our Pandavas went to the forest, lived for 12 years. Rama and Sita and Lakshmana went to the forest and lived 14 years. They were denied a lot of royal comforts and luxuries, but they always had an abundance of peace. So the life was very good for them. You tell me, what is it that we basically and ultimately need? Is it food and shelter or the peace and contentment of the mind and heart? अच्छी तरह समझ लीजिए. Vastuswarupam sputabodha chakshusha. After having stipulated all these things, punya, you have to earn it. Papa, you have to exhaust it. You cannot depend upon another man. If you are sinful, any extent of your mother praying for you will not be helpful. My mother has broken the coconut, so I will get the punya for me. Don't think like that. Certainly not. You have to earn it by yourself, Teach the children. Spend some time in religious, spiritual or any other form of worship and contemplation. Religious items are addressed to an external God and a distant God and an invisible God. Spiritual items are always self-based. Spirituality is based upon the senses, based upon the oral faculty, then inwardly upon the mind, upon the intelligence, the 4 levels of human activity. We have sensory activity, external and gross. Oral activity, where we go on generating sound, energy from within us. These are distinct one from the other. Now these are the 2, sensory and oral activities. Then we have 2 other activities, mental and intellectual, or I would like to call it intelligential. Is my word. Now the cause of oral and sensory activity, the source and cause and motivation are from the mind and intelligence. Without the mind and intelligence, no activity can ever take place. So that is the cause, the source of it. You have to reach the mind level and the intelligence level as soon as possible. We are all born with sensory and oral activities. We take the child, go to the temple, ask him to prostrate, utter some prayers. What is it? Physical and oral activity, that's all. These are all called acharas, religious formalities, practices and so-called regular discipline items. With the acharas you grow. And as soon as possible when you become an adult, you have to elevate yourself to the mento-intellectual plane, vichara. That never happens in us. That is our problem. The child cannot understand when I speak philosophy to the child. So he has to be put nevertheless into some kind of discipline or austerity. That is why all these things are there. Understand it very well. So we have to be responsible for our own papa and our own punya. Don't be frightened by the word papa and punya. What is papa and what is punya? Ashtadasha puraneshu vyasasya vajanadvayam paropakarah punyaya papaya parapidanam. See, papa and punya themselves are religious concepts. But in the applicational and the pursuit level, it is not at all religion. Any help or service you do for another. What did I say? Any help or service you do for another, including your family, it is punya. Any disservice or harm you do to anybody in this world is papa. So you tell me, is papa something of a social nature or it is a religious nature? बोलिए ना थोड़ा, सभी को समझा दीजिए. हमारी सारी religion is secular, this worldly, sensory, oral, mental and intellectual. There is nothing godly there. It is not related to God. It is your action, your regulation, your reformation, your discipline, your purity, your contemplation, your discovery, your realization. When you realize God, what happens to God? Nothing. He is present everywhere. You have realized Him. So the transformation is in you or God? Are you bringing Him from the Himalayas to your house? सोच कर बोलिए ना. हे क्या बात है? कब समझेंगे हम? The entire religio-spiritual pursuit is completely a self-reformation and refining matter. It has nothing different from that. It's absolutely that. The moment you understand it, you become a vicharavan, you become an Arya. We call him an Arya. An Arya means Shrestha. Our Britishers have said, Aryas have come from outside and they have civilized the Dravidians here. Nonsense. And we believe in this cock and bull story ourselves and we carry on. You can find the word Arya written in Mahabharata. The word Arya appears there. It is written in Yoga Vasishta. Our royal women used to address their husbands, the kings, as Aryaputra. What does it mean? This Aryatva is taught from outside world? Thoda boliye na. Why is it that your blood is not boiling? We have been told that you are a slave. Slave. The entire world is slave before us. But we are not slaves of anybody. Mahabharata itself is 5,000 years old. There they refer to Aryatva, the civilization aspect of it. And we say Aryas have come from Russia or other places, from Central Asia they came to India and they started fighting and civilized us. Hey, gulp in and live. 65 years have passed after independence and we don't have a cultural history of our own to be written. In the entire constitution there is no reference to it at all. India means a subcontinent, bas. Mitti hai India. Is India really a land or is it a people, I am asking you? A people who have lived for the longest number of years in this world, largest number of years. You cannot find a civilization or a people or a community or a nation which has lived as long as we Indians have lived here. Vastu swarupam sputabodha chakshusha svenaiva vedyam nadu pandidena. Vastu swarupam sputabodha chakshusha. This one verse at least you should learn. Vastu swarupa. The swarupa means the real and static nature. Vastu of an existence. It may be a product, it may be a matter, it may be an energy or anything else. Whatever exists is called a vastu. That vastu swarupam, its nature, its static nature, quality, characteristic. Sputabodha chakshusha. You have to see it, not with the eyes. The mind you cannot see with your eyes. The thought you cannot see with your eyes. The thinker you cannot see with your eyes. The very statement I, what it refers to, you cannot see with your senses. It is inside, it is subjective, it is inside, it is subjective. Then how can we see it? Sputabodha chakshusha. By the eye of clear and stable awareness, consciousness. आप थोड़ा बोलिए. अपना एक मन है, वहां विचार उत्पन्न हो रहा है, कभी कभी भाव भावना भी उत्पन्न हो रही है. आप कैसे समझते हैं बोलिए? आंखों के द्वारा या कानों को द्वारा? कैसे समझते हैं? हाँ, मन नहीं, मन है, ये किस प्रकार समझते हैं? So there is something called consciousness or awareness in you. That consciousness is such a thing that I told you earlier also, by virtue of which you can become conscious of anything else as well as yourself. I have a mind, I know it. The mind is thinking, I know it. I have an intelligence, I know it. It can rationalize, I know it. I slept, I knew. I dreamt, I knew. So there is an awareness or consciousness in me which is capable of knowing the existence of the body, the bodily functions, the existence of the mind, intelligence, etc., their functions. No existence of these, namely sleep and unconsciousness. All these things we are capable of knowing. How many items are there? We are conscious and unconscious. The consciousness as well as unconsciousness. The wakefulness as well as... Are you with me when I say this? Thoda sochiye na achhi tarah. We have only wakefulness. Thereafter we have sleep. Do you have a third factor? Throughout the day? Either we are wakeful or we are asleep. In wakefulness we know we are, other things are. In sleep we don't know that we are and the other things are. Both we are conscious of. What is there further to be conscious of for you? बोलिए ना. और कुछ बाकी है? When I fall unconscious, then also I know it. So the entire gamut of knowledge and consciousness I already have. Nothing more is left. So we have a bodha, we have an awareness, a consciousness. And that consciousness has to be projected inwardly. And you have to find the source of very awareness, the source of thinking, the source of understanding, the source of sensory perception, the source of reflection, the source of activity, the source of interaction. I am using so many expressions. You tell me the source of everything you do and experience in your life. Is it inward or outward? सभी एक साथ बोलिए ना, चुप रहते हैं क्यों? It is something very important that I am saying. The source of everything you do, everything you experience, everything you understand, is it inside or outside? यदि भगवान आप पहुंचकर सामने खड़े हो रहे हैं, उनको देखना भी कहाँ होता है? भगवान को कौन देखने वाला है? हम तो भगवत दर्शन में भी the source is myself. Please, do you understand what I say? Huh? Even in the matter of seeing God, that seeing process is within me. I always ask one question. What is that question? Is there any growth anywhere in this world from outside to inside, or all forms of growth are from inside to outside? Our body grows. Is that growth administered from external factors, or the reception of food, assimilation of the food, converting it into blood, and the biological growth, is it monitored and caused by inside? The medicines are administered to the body. They are assimilated by the body, and the cure is generated by the body. Is it not so, doctors? Huh? So the cause of everything is lying within you. Go there, enter there, and make it clear, rarefied, pure, sublime. Sputa bodha chakshusha. Let the awareness in you become like the eye in the matter of seeing the objects, and let it become sputa bodha, very clear, clarified awareness. Sputabodha chakshusha vastu swarupam svenaiva vedyam nadu panditena. You have to touch your awareness, touch your consciousness, and improve it. Make it more and more fine, more and more fine, more and more reflective, more and more absorptional, more and more contemplative. As a result of which, you will be able to perceive. How long shall I stop? You will be able to perceive the perceiving process. What? You will be able to see or understand the seeing process. The perceiving process. Where is it taking place? Inside or outside? Inside. Now, the perceiving process is a function of the perceiver. Huh? Yes. Any action proceeds from the actor. So the perceiving process is unleashed or generated or caused by the perceiver. And where is the perceiver? When God comes and stands in my front, if I am seeing him, seer of God, is he outside or inside? So to say that I have seen God, where is the whole process? Now we are seeing through the senses objects of the world. Disconnect the senses, don't employ them. Simply sit and look into the mind process. Mind is doing some process. It does mentation. Thoughts go on emerging. Where from do they emerge? Millions and trillions of thoughts have come, and the source is not reduced. सुन रहे हैं क्या? बोलिए ना थोड़ा. Huh? Even Himalayas will become depleted when I start baskets of earth from it. I take drops and drops of water from the sea will be reduced. But our mind is never reduced by generating a number of thoughts, countless number of thoughts. So tell me whether the mind and consciousness are inexhaustible or not. Huh? आप चुप रहते हैं, आप बोलिए ना, आपका mind, is it something which will be exhausted and terminated, or is it interminable, inexhaustible resource? Huh? I am not satisfied. एक दो आदमी बोलते हैं, तब मेरे हिसाब में हम क्या करें? दो तीन आदमी ही समझते हैं क्या? You tell me very clearly, your mind is an inexhaustible resource or exhaustible one? That is the key for everything. Touch up your mind. Every day your mind should become a better mind, more loving, more tolerant, more sympathetic, more considerate, more adjusting, more appreciating. Never speak ill of anybody, never speak ill of anybody. Speak, if at all, good of everybody. You may speak the ill of somebody else, but who is getting the ill? Huh? राम राम जपने से बेनिफिट किसका है? राम का है या जपने वाले का है? तब दूसरे का इल कहने से गान करने से किसकी गलती होगी, महापाप होगा? बोलिए मत. Your mouth should speak always good and great things. Refuse to see evil. Admit no failure in this world. Failure for a devotee of God? As long as you keep God in your heart, you are infallible, unconquerable, indefatigable. This is what your position should be. Devotion is building up heroism, valor, the ability and the readiness to make any sacrifice that you can. This is the way we should be. Sputa bodha chakshusha chandraswarupam nija chakshusaiva jnadavyamanyaihi avagamyate kim. Chandraswarupam. The beautiful full moon is there as a shining orb on the sky. If you have to see, will you say, please go and see and report to me? You will have to see it yourself. Another man cannot see and report it. You will not have any effect. In the same manner, you have to employ your mind, your intelligence. Put them into a state of contemplative absorption or absorptional contemplation. Spend some time. I only say spend 20 or 25 minutes every day. Close your eyes. That is very important. As long as your eyes are open, something will be there to see, or actually nothing will be there. Even you have to say nothing is there by opening the eyes and see. So close your eyes, sit and live and float in your own mind and thought process consciously. What did you do? I was swimming in my thought process. Let the thoughts and emotions be there. You start swimming, unaffectedly, refreshingly. This is what we want. Every thought that arises in our mind must be perceived and understood by us. Every emotion should be instantly sensed by us.